Chapter 10 of Ruth Fielding at the War Front. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Ruth Fielding at the War Front by Alice B. Emerson. A Devouring Suspicion. She had been at the field hospital for a week. It seemed to Ruth Fielding at last as though she could not remain holed up like a rabbit any longer. At Clare she had been used to going out of the hospital when she liked and going anywhere she pleased. Here she found it was necessary to have a pass, even to step out of the hospital compound. "And be careful where you walk, Miss Fielding," said Dr. Monteith as he signed her pass. "Do not go toward the battlefront. If you do, you may be halted." "Halted?" repeated Ruth, not quite understanding. "And perhaps suspected," he said, nodding gravely. "Even your Red Cross will not save you." "Oh, dear me!" exclaimed the girl. "Is everybody suspected of spying? I think it has become a craze." "We do not know whom to suspect," he said. "Our closest friends may be enemies. We cannot tell." But Dr. Monteith, who are in this district, save our soldiers and the French inhabitants?" asked Ruth. "True, but there may be a traitor among us. Indeed, it is believed that there has been," and Ruth winced and looked away from him. "As for our allies here, well, all of them may not be above earning German gold, and they would think it not as though they were betraying their own countrymen. There are only United States soldiers in this sector now, as you say, Miss Fielding." "I cannot imagine people being so wicked," sighed the girl. "No matter how it is done or who does it, the enemy is getting information about our troops and condition, as the last two attacks have proved. So take care where you go, Miss Fielding, and what you do," he added earnestly. She promised and went away with her pass. It was late afternoon, and her duties were over for the day. She would not be needed at the supply hut until morning, and indeed the girl she was breaking in was already mastering the details of the work. Ruth could soon go back to her own work at Clare. She walked nimbly out of the compound gate, making sure that she was following a road that led away from the front. Nobody halted her. Indeed, she was soon passing through a little valley that seemed as peaceful and quiet as though there was no such thing as war in the world. The path she followed was plainly but a farm track. It wound between narrow fields that had not been plowed the season before, not even by cannon shot. Somehow the big shells had flown over this little valley. The sun was setting, and the strip of western sky above the hills was tinged with its golden glories. Already pale twilight lay in the valley. But in this latitude the twilight would long remain. She did not hasten her steps, nor did she turn back toward the field hospital. She saw a cottage half hidden behind a hedge of evergreens. It stood in a small square of muddy garden. There was a figure at work in this patch, the tall, stoop-shouldered figure of a man. He was digging parsnips that had been left out for the frost to sweeten. He used the mattock slowly and methodically. With the cottage as a background and the muddy bit of garden, the picture he made was typical of the country and the people who inhabited it. Suddenly she realized that she recognized the ragged blue smock and the old droop-brimmed hat he wore. It was Nico, the chocolate vendor. This must be his place of abode. Ruth hesitated. She had felt some shrinking from the man before. Now she realized she was afraid of him. He had not seen her, and she stood back and watched him. All of a sudden another man appeared from around the corner of the cottage. Ruth was more than glad then that she had not shown herself. She turned to retrace her steps. Then she looked again at this new figure in the picture. She almost spoke aloud in her amazement. The newcomer was dressed exactly as Nico was dressed, the same blue and ragged smock, shapeless trousers, wooden shoes, and with a hat the twin of the one that first Nico wore. Indeed, it was a second Nico who stood there in the bit of garden before the laborer's cot. But amazement and suspicion did not hold her to the spot for long. She did not wish to be discovered by the pair. She was confident now that there was something altogether wrong with Nico, the chocolate peddler, and his double. Out of the view of the cottage, She hurried her steps. Through the gloaming she sped up the path in the valley toward the highroad on which faced the hospital stockade. Her thoughts were in a tangle of doubt. Yet one clear thread of determination she held. She must give her confidence to somebody. She must relate her suspicions to some person who was in authority. Not the medical chief of staff at this field hospital, nor did she wish to go to the commanding officer of this sector, whoever he might be. Indeed, she almost feared to talk with any American officer, for Tom Cameron seemed to be entangled in this web of deceit and treachery, to which she believed she had gained a look. There was a man whom she could trust, however, one who would know exactly what to do, she felt sure, and it would be his business to examine into this mystery. The moment she returned to Clare, Ruth would get into communication with this individual. Thus thinking, she hurried on and had almost reached the highway when something made her look back. Not a sound, for even the sleepy birds had stopped twittering, and there was no rustle of night wind in the bare shrubbery about her. But mysteriously she was forced to turn her head. She looked down the path over which her feet had sped from the laborer's cot. There was something behind her. Ruth did not scream. A form came up the track swiftly, and at first she saw it so indistinctly that she had no idea what it really was. Had she been spied by the men in the garden, and was one of them following her? She trembled so that she could not walk. She crouched back into the hedge, watching fearfully the onrush of the phantom-like apparition coming so swiftly up the path. End of chapter 10.